to be the quarterback of someone else again next season? What are we seeing now in otherwise what could be the final 2 games of one of the greatest careers in NFL history?
I think C, all of the above, because you don't know. I mean, who's going to be the head coach, who the general manager will be, and things like that. So, I mean, that's all to be determined. I will say he's playing much better the last few weeks. Now, look, today specifically, all right, this defense, Kimberly said that, she was nice. She wasn't like me and telling the absolute truth because they've been horrible.
Buffalo, you're talking about.
Buffalo, the last 3 weeks. Last week, I told you about New England would score 21. They did, by the way. What a surprise. But anyway, right again. But I think Aaron Rodgers, could light this secondary up. I mean, they could. And, there's going to be people, and if he does, he's starting to look like Aaron Rodgers of old, who knows what happens. But to me, it's going to be interesting. And in this game, you're right. Do I think they're going to lose to the Bills will lose to the Jets? No, I don't, because that defense is so vanilla, 3-week quarters, whatever. Give me a break.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the quarterback of the Jets next season? Yes or no?
No. Whoever is going to be the head coach of the New York Jets has to explore that option, in my opinion. You have to. Aaron Rodgers is coming off an Achilles injury. He's starting to show.
He's playing better.
He's playing better now. Aaron does not want to go out like this. Right. I mean, this guy's been a laughing stock at times this year, the way that he's played. Okay? We've all had problems with the way he's played. But how do you not explore bringing this player back for another season when, you've already done so much. To get a head coach that can get the best out of Aaron Rodgers. Who is that?
Well, again, who are you going to get right now if you're the Jets that's going to be better than Aaron Rodgers? That's number one. Number two, the owner still has to sign off on it because the owner has been temperamental with Aaron Rodgers, and we don't know what he's going to feel about Aaron Rodgers. But most important, you haven't mentioned this at all, we're talking about whether the Jets will bring back Aaron Rodgers, but what about what Aaron Rodgers will do with Aaron Rodgers? We're trying to predict the future with a guy who has a documentary that's called Enigma, right? We don't know what he's going to do about his future. We don't know if he is going to want to play next year. We have no idea whether he's going to want to be back.
The Jets have already dealt with so much baggage from this player that it's almost like this is the only place that he can go, because who else in the league is willing to deal with all of that? As if he comes, do I have to get a coach that you like? Do I have to get players that you like? There are so many questions.
Well, again,
the Jets have already dealt with this.
They're not in a position to go draft one of the top couple of quarterbacks in this draft.
So
there are not a lot of free agent quarterbacks out there. You're not going to go trade for one. You got some capish. Like, what are you going to go do? Who's better than him if he wants to play and if the owner wants him back?
I think that's why these last few games are important. He has been playing much better if you've been watching, and they've been out of it. And I think if he continues to play better and improve, listen, these traumatic Achilles injuries, it takes time to recover. And if he finishes the season on a high note and believes that he can come back and have a little redemption, I think that's important. Rex?
No, I think there'll be a time when I'll address that, I think, because I can tell you this. Any coach going in there is going to have a plan. And they probably, already know that would they sign up for him or whatever. I will say this. Part of the problem is, this guy's sitting back saying, well, I don't know if I'm going to come back. Well, really? All right.
There's got to be answers questions that Aaron has to be willing to answer. I'm talking immediate. No, are you going to be at minicamp? Are you going to be here for the team? Yeah. Any coach is like, boom, well, sit me down with Aaron Rodgers. I want to know his goals, and then we'll go from there, because if he's willing to do the things that are for winning football, going through a minicamp, being around, you got to go old school. All right, Aaron, 15 years ago, you got to put in this type of work to finish your career. If you can, and a head coach can work with you, Jets welcome you back.
We had an unbelievable day, but we begin, as always, with Shefty and the very latest news. Shefty, what do we need to know?
Well, in Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts is out in concussion protocol. And if the Eagles can win today and lock up the number 2 seed in the NFC East title, then they could rest players next week against the Giants, and we wouldn't see Jalen Hurts then. But today, Kenny Pickett, who grew up an Eagles fan, will start and try to put away a division title. That would be a storybook ending for a guy who grew up wearing a T.O. jersey Jersey attending Eagles games. Meanwhile, it looks like the Miami Dolphins will not have Tua Tagovailoa later today in Cleveland. He is not expected to play due to a hip injury, which means Tyler Huntley, who spent training camp last summer with the Cleveland Browns, would start against his former team as he tries to keep alive Miami's playoff hopes. It would be Huntley's fourth start of the season, but Tua is more banged up than people